President Trump is optimistic ahead of peace talks with Iran and Pakistan tomorrow. Vice President Vance set to lead the talks. The new Ayatollah threatening the Strait of Hormuz is a new phase. That's an interesting one. Says our next guest says Iran will try to string us along and sell us a bad deal, but businessman Trump will not let that happen. Let's bring him here. Retired four-star general, Fox News senior strategic analyst, chairman of the Institute of Study of War, General Jack Keane. General, we're in the ceasefire stage. The president's optimistic. Are you?
Well, the president has information that none of us have. So there's something there that's telling him this looks better than any of the other negotiations that he's been involved in, and certainly what the Iranians did with the Obama administration. So that's got to be a fact. But no, I'm not optimistic about it because this is what the Iranians do. I mean, they are masters at obfuscation and delaying negotiations. What's on the table is everything that they value, everything from the nuclear to the ballistic missiles to their drones to support for proxies. Everything they stand for, they would have to voluntarily give up. It's hard to get your head around the fact that they would actually do that. What they will likely do is make concessions on a number of points that will incentivize us. Oh, this is different. They're willing to make a deal here. Drag this thing out for a number of weeks. And why do they want to drag it out? Well, because they don't want us to go back and reattack. And the longer there is lower oil prices, the lower there's less economic pain, the longer there's less political pressure, it makes it that much tougher in their minds for the administration to go back and finish the job militarily. That, I believe, is really their strategy. And they're very clever at doing this. They're actually better at this than they are at fighting. And the history speaks for itself. And the other thing is, whatever the deal is, Brian, let's say we actually get to something and they're signing papers. Can we really trust these guys going forward?
Absolutely
I don't think so.
So, General, what are our options?
So we have to be prepared. Yeah, we got to be prepared, and I know our forces can open up that strait and protect the ships going through it. People are hand-wringing about a drone here and a missile there, and it's not going to take anything to stop it. They don't understand the plan, all right, and the details of the plan. The United States military can secure a defined space that's moving through the straits, put an absolute air cap and an air bubble around all of that, and make certain that anything that tries to penetrate it is going to be defeated. My God, we've been protecting our own ships against Iranians, have been firing on them for weeks. We can certainly do this. It's considered to be more limited than that. Right. Admittedly, they have a whole shoreline to fire from, but you think we're actually going to let anybody come close to that shoreline? We'll have Apache helicopters up, surveillance up. We know how to do this. Right. It's not that big of a deal. So I'm not saying it's not challenging. I'm not saying there isn't some risk associated with it. There's risk associated with every military operation, but it's quite doable.
So the thing is, General, we could stop the Chinese are allowed to go through there. The Iranian ships are allowed to go through there. They're deciding India and Pakistan ships can go through there. Why don't we decide they can't go through there? Why don't we can do this to leave them in charge while charging people extortion is not something that anybody can tolerate.
Well, I always thought that the first option available to us when they shut down the straits, as opposed to the security option, which involves much more resources, is just the Iranian ships are coming through, just quarantine them in the Gulf of Oman. And in talking to our military guys, it wasn't a big deal. They can do it. They did it off the coast of Venezuela as well. And, the other thing we could do, because a lot of those ships would be China, they depend on Persian Gulf oil. I mean, they would be strapped if we did something like that. The president calls Xi and says, look, Iran is forcing us our hand here. This is something I don't want to do, but I got to do it because I got to get the straits open. And that's the reality of it. And you're going to have to pay a price. What I'd like you to do is dial up the Iranians and tell them to knock it off. I'm not telling you to tell them to stop opposing us. I'm just telling you to knock off closing the straits. I think that's a feasible strategy. And if we continue to have problems with them, I think that's the strategy we should exercise first, even before we go to the military option of conducting secure convoys through the Straits.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be a big 2 weeks. It's going to be a big weekend. JD Vance is in charge, but there's no way they can remain in charge of the Strait of Hormuz. It's even bigger than the Persian Gulf. Go ahead, General. Thanks so much.
One final point. Listen, President Trump is not going to make a bad deal here. As much as he thinks there's a good deal coming, doesn't know for sure until it's on the table. And what are the verification process? He knows these guys are liars and cheaters. Listen, nobody has negotiated more with this regime than this president. And this is the only president who's ever taken them on consequentially in terms of military operations, for a fact.
Right.
So he knows what he's dealing with here. And I've got confidence he is not going to make a bad deal here after all the sacrifices that we've made going forward here. So my bet is on that outcome for sure. No bad deal, and we may find ourselves having to go back to military operations and finish this once and for all. And in that respect, I actually favor it, because then we're not throwing the regime a lifeline financially. Any deal we get into, we got to remove sanctions, freeze billions of dollars of assets. The regime is not going to recover immediately, but they are going to recover with that kind of financial assistance.
General, good point. It's everyone's going to be watching. We can't let it end the way it is right now. General Jack Keane, thanks so much.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.